Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. The cage match is back. The head-to-head battle this week for week 14 on DraftKings against Joe Holka from the Joe Holka Show. We're going to talk about a couple of lineups. We're going to build them against one another for, DraftKings NFL DFS week 14. I'm going to get every single SEO word in this description. NFL lineups, NFL picks, DraftKings picks, week 14. We do this every single week for charity. We're going to be playing for No Kid Hungry against one another this week, and we're going to draft two head-to-head lineups. But if you play head-to-heads on DraftKings, you know that there's going to be a lot of overlap. All the best values are going to be taken by your opponent, and you end up playing sometimes 2 versus 2, especially in the previous few weeks, with as much value as there's been on the slate, as much obvious value as there's been on the slates. But we're going to draft these kind of in a schoolyard format where one of us is going to get first and 1, the other one gets second and 2, and then we're going to pick one the rest of the way. But as soon as somebody gets drafted with the salaries on DraftKings, he's out of bounds. You can't take him if you're on the other side. So we're going to have two very unique lineups trying to win this cage match. I believe Joe beat me the last time that we played. So I'm going to try and get my revenge and throw him off the roof of the cage today. See if I can't even up the score. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like on the video. We have that 10% rule in effect. If we get 10,000 views on this video, we got to have over 1,000 likes. If we get 8,000, I need over 800 likes. I don't like asking for likes, but if I don't ask for likes, y'all don't like the video. So click that like button. It costs you absolutely nothing. Keep us over that 10%. Subscribe to the channel. We're approaching 50,000 subscribers. We'll be doing some giveaways once we get there. Ring the notifications bell. Leave me a reply down below telling me who you think has the better lineup. And let's go.
He's a legend.
Hey, Joe, how's it going, man?
Al, how are you? Actually, this is the third time we've done this, and it is 1-1. So this is actually the rubber match. You beat me last year. I beat you the year before. This is one that I look forward to, though, because it's definitely kind of a unique game that a lot of people aren't doing that you've kind of created here, and it's a lot of fun, man. So I'm excited to do this again.
Glad to have you back. You know what? Like, I like this. Like, this is like an ongoing, it's a tete-a-tete. It's a back and
Who knows?
forth.
We'll be doing this in like 10 years, and we'll see who can, like, I guess, win the 7-game series, something like that.
Be like the lady from Titanic. It's been 84 years since I did the first cage match. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find your great content, Joe?
Yeah, pretty easy. I'm at Joe Holka on basically every platform. My show is every Monday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube, youtube.com/Joe Holka. I do go live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. So much earlier than you, Al. I know you're on the West Coast. I'm out in Minnesota. So there's a lot of stuff that we do kind of similarly. So I think people would enjoy some of the content we have going over there. We bring on a bunch of different guests throughout the week. And yeah, I'm team YouTube. I know you're team Twitch, Al, but maybe one day we'll get you over there. Who knows?
Purple versus red. Yeah. So you remember the old red versus blue? It's red versus purple today. We are going to be playing for, as I said, No Kid Hungry. We've been doing fundraisers for them all season long. We are over $27,000 raised currently. And if we can get to $35,000 raised by the end of the year, I'm going to donate another $25,000. I've already committed $40,000 based on every $5,000 I had a different match number. So we're up to over $65,000 as a community. If we get to $35,000 from the community, I'll donate another $25,000, which would put us at $100K for the year. Absolutely amazing. No Kid Hungry brings school lunches and school breakfasts to kids who are food insecure, and 1 in 6 kids across America is food insecure, and there's something we can do about it. Here's the tally. As you can see, we're live. We're up to $27,501 raised. Smizzle.tv/charity will take you there, and I can shout you out on the stream if you were to do that. So bringing Joe back in here for a second. Joe, you said that you wanted the first pick, so it's yours.
I do. So I'm going to start this off with, I know we have a little bit of news that could come out with J.D. McKissick, but regardless, I still think that Antonio Gibson at 6K is one of the best plays on the entire board. I think that Dallas and Washington game is an interesting one, but man, it just comes down to volume. So I wanted to start out and secure some of that in the running back slot. Obviously, he's been super active in the passing game. I don't know how much they're going to just give back to J.D. McKissick after what we've seen Gibson show us these last couple of weeks, just in a crazy amount of volume. I'm not really sure why they haven't priced him up a little bit more. So I'm all in on Antonio Gibson again this week.
He's a fantastic play. And like, he was one of my, like, I over projected him in the offseason, right? Like I bought into, it wasn't coach speak, it was quarterback speak. They're like, oh,
like
they're
the new
prepping
CMC
him
role
to be
that
in
everyone
that
was talking about.
CMC role, right? And like, if this, I don't like coach speak, right? Everybody knows I don't trust Sean McVay. Different coaches are differently honest, let's say. But when it comes from like the quarterback room, it's like, this is what they're prepping Antonio Gibson to be. And finally, we're seeing that over the last 2 weeks with playing a ton of snaps. Even in that game against Seattle where McKissic was still there getting 7 targets. They're just like, you know what? We can't not. We don't have enough offensive weapons. We have to include him.
Yep, just doesn't matter. And like some of the injuries that they've had, like you said, it just made sense that they finally kind of leaned into him a little bit more. And this is basically what we were waiting for at the beginning of the season. It just took a little bit longer. So yeah, I don't know how you really get away from him, especially if you're playing cash games. But even in tournaments, I think that there's ways to get different and still have him in your lineups. This is why I took the first pick, Alex. I was worried you were going to take him from me.
Oh, I was 100% going to take him if you left him for me. Like usually there's the last few weeks, there's been like so very much value at running back between like 6K and 5K that I don't know, like you could play anybody. There's like 4 or 5 guys in there. There's a point where like you had to pick which one and you could pay up for other guys. So I think that's my long way of saying I think there is less this week than in other weeks where I could have eschewed that value at running back before and paid for like, you know, gone for a wide receiver or something else. I'm not sure that we can do that right now. I think that I do have to go after somebody at running back. Now, I'm going to take 2 here. I'm going to take 2 running backs. It's been 84 years since I took 2 running backs in a cage match. This is really weird. I think that the 2 that I want to focus on, one is sketchy.
Sketchy how?
Because like it could blow up. It could hurt me. And I've been hurt before, Joe, and I don't want to be hurt again. Me as well, including last week. So I'm going to start with one that should not hurt me, and it's going to be Uncle Lenny. $5 running back at home against Buffalo. And like Buffalo's been faltering, man, and they've been crushed on the ground twice in the last 3 weeks, once against Jonathan Taylor, the other against the triple wing offense that New England ran in the wind against them, where they ran it about 7,048 times in one game. It was an NFL record, I believe, at least in the modern era. So Leonard Fournette, I don't need him, and I don't expect him to run it 20, 25, 28 times this game, but targets are way more valuable than rush attempts are. And considering that he is the league leader in terms of receptions, imagine hearing that in August. If I told you, Joe, I'm from the future and Leonard Fournette's going to lead the league in running back catches this year, you would have shot me in the face.
Well, the zero running back people would have been upset with you because everyone was just grabbing Gio at the end of the year too. So yeah,
everyone was grabbing Gio. The Rojo truthers were out there in force.
Oh, I love the pick, especially this week, because it looks like Rojo is still questionable at this point. So if you get even him out, that's a few more touches for Fournette. Obviously, perfect weather. I'm going to be at this game, Al. I'm going to be at this Tampa Bay game against the Bills, so this will be fun. I went to the Patriots game in his return to Foxborough, or Tom Brady's return to Foxborough, I should say, and Leonard Fournette just absolutely put it down my throat with like 35 touches in that game or something absurd. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. I guess this game is going to be amazing. I think that it's pretty clearly the top game on the slate for points as of now. Yeah. Yes. So I like it.
So I'm going to take him, and again, the cage match is not about making an optimal lineup. The cage match is about inflicting pain. And now knowing, this was unknown to me, now knowing that you are going to be at the game and you're going to have to watch number 7 truck somebody and get into the end zone.
Not going to be fun.
Oh, it's just that much better. I like this pick so much more right now. I
the last time I had all the Tom Brady, and then he didn't even throw 1 touchdown pass. So I've already been in a lot of pain watching this team live so far this year. So I might as well make it 2 in a row. If Lenny gets drops another 3 touchdowns, that's not going to be fun.
It's not going to be fun for you. So my next pick, I'm torn, but you know, a little Natalie Imbruglia here. So like I could have gone with a safer pick, possibly, but I'm not about safety. I'm like the Evil Knievel of DFS when it comes to this stuff. And I like to gamble a little bit, Joe. So I'm going to gamble on talent that Javonte Williams, much like my old friend, rest in peace, Bobby Thompson, who took the job at Arizona State in the early 80s and was the career leader in terms of assists at that school for a long time, that Javonte Williams just took the job in Denver with his ridiculous performance last week. Even if MG3 comes back, again, I said this on the running backs video yesterday, it's not the assumption of rational coaching, it's the assumption of a rational agent that would want to keep MG3 out of harm's way going into free agency at the end of this year. They know who he is, you know what his talent level is, just, you know, make him an elf on the shelf, let him sit down for a while so that we can secure one more bag in the offseason. This is the dangerous pick that could blow up in my face if he goes back to this like 10 touch a game sort of guy. I think this cat's out of the bag. I don't think that there's any way to put this genie back in the bottle or use any more metaphors possibly for this pick. So I'm going to go with Javonte Williams at 5,900, who can still reach value even if he only plays 65-70% of the snaps.
I mean, and it's Detroit, right? So you didn't even mention that it is also Detroit.
Detroit
and
hasn't been terrible the last month, though.
Yeah, I still think that this is a spot where Javonte is pretty clearly one of the top running back plays. So definitely was considering him with my pick. Also, I'm gonna go on offense as well here. There's a couple plays that I feel like could be relatively safe, but this is the cage match. I need some ceiling, Al. So I'm gonna play that narrative that I'm sure a lot of people are gonna talk about. Will the Raiders even attempt to adjust what they're doing on defense? Because last time Kansas City played the Raiders, they just got completely stumped basically the entire game because they basically just deferred all the stuff that's been working against Patrick Mahomes. They just like, nah, we're not going to do that. So no too high safety. They just kind of did their normal defensive structure, which didn't work out so well. So I'm going to go with TYREEK Hill. And he's very expensive. So I'm going to have to find some value. There's not a lot of great value on the slate, so I might have kind of handcuffed myself a little bit. But I do think this is a spot where KC is going to bounce back in a really big way. So TYREEK Hill, 8,500. Wow.
Yeah. 27.5 points the last time he played the Raiders. And Raiders like, we don't care how everybody's been stopping the Chiefs. We're going to do it our way. And their way was to allow 2 touchdowns on 7 catches.
Yeah. Not going to be good.
Didn't work. Maybe they should do something else. So Gibson and TYREEK Hill, 2 big play guys for you. I will cross TYREEK Hill off of my list.
Oh, yeah. I should start doing that as well. Good call. There should be like a penalty if you pick a player that you've already picked.
Yeah, like so the look lower player. Do you do that like in your home leagues? That was always our thing in our home leagues. If somebody picked somebody who was drafted, the whole room would just yell, "Look lower."
I've not done that, but that's amazing. There's got to be like a legitimate thing that you add to this cage match if someone does that, though. I feel like. So
we have the thing that if you go over salary, I get to remove one of your players and you can't use them.
I like that.
Or
I think
if I go over salary, you can remove one of my players.
I like that. You could just make like the person double down on their wager if they do one of those things, right? I think that would make sense too.
Ooh, yeah. They're playing for twice as much. Well,
so I will be Xing players out.
Yeah, I'm Xing them out too. But like, I don't want to wrap up a quarterback right now. But I also do at the same time, but I don't. He's got a bad finger, Joe. And I don't want to lock up a quarterback.
Are you rostering him to throw, though? Probably
yeah, like, it's ridiculous. He kind of looks like you.
Really?
I've never seen the two of you in the same place.
You know what I've heard before? What is a baseball player? TikTok tells me this like literally every day that I look like, God, who is it? Now I'm blanking on who it is. He's like one of the young home run hitters. Plays for the Mets.
That narrows it down. Oh, Pete Alonso?
Alonso, yeah.
Okay.
I have like multiple people per day on TikTok tell me that I look like Pete Alonso. I don't really see it, but yeah, that's the one that's like the only one I really get.
I'm gonna wait. See, this might be like a metagame strategy where I make you think that I want to go after that guy, but I really don't want to go after that guy. But then like you do go after that guy. Like, there's a lot of
I don't know, man. Like we've done this with Russell Wilson before. Like I guess it's a little bit more important for Russell Wilson to throw the football, but I don't know.
It is more important.
Would you be surprised if he went out there and threw another 3 picks though?
I mean, would it matter?
Probably not.
All right. I'm going to take a wide receiver. I'm going to go somewhere else. Somewhere completely different here. I don't know where I want to go. Wide receiver's not great this week.
Bad, especially at the bottom end.
Yeah.
Like some of the guys that like are on my list right now, it's really scary.
I mean, there's value guys, but like they're scary, but like who cares? They're just, you know, they don't need to do all that much.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to get enough shares of Dallas. I don't think. Like all the wide receivers suck this week. Why do they do this? Come on, DraftKings. Like the value's been here, right? The value's been all throughout here all year. 5K to like 6,400. There's been like 6 dudes in that range every single week that have been fun, that have been great plays, that have been rosterable, and like the best one right now is we don't even know what the situation is with Keenan Allen. Like he could clear, and you know Mike Williams would have a terrible matchup, but also is going to get a lot more volume, and volume wins. Lamb's good, but they've all priced up, so like this is just it's a weird spot. So I'm going to take the floor guy, the fall guy, and it's going to be Hunter Renfrow in this spot, getting a ton of usage. Gives me that floor that I want in a contest like this, right? Like ceiling is big. It can win you the game if your guy has that slate breaking day. Something that I don't think Hunter Renfrow possibly has in his locker. But if he's going to get me basically 8, 9, 10 targets, 10 in week 13, 9 in week 12, 9 in week 10, 9 in week 9, 8 in week 7. This is basically what his role is on the team. Anytime they get short yardage, anytime they get third down, anytime they get close, they are targeting Hunter Renfrow because 1, he gets separation in short spaces. 2, he catches the ball when it's thrown his way, and that is somewhat valuable on a team like Las Vegas. Now, this is an up-tempo game for them going up against Kansas City. So I'm going to take those easy catches and easy PPR points and the possibility of 100 yards here and lock in a 15-point floor somewhere around that range, which is basically his average on the year. But like, if you look at where he was, like his floor-ish games have been 7.5 and 6.6. Every other game is basically in the mid-teens with a couple of ceilings just over 20. So for 6,100, I'll take that easy 3x, and I'll kick it back to you.
Yeah, Renfrow always kind of feels like the guy that no one wants to roster because it's not like that sexy play, but he just like gets there every single week. So yeah, I like that a lot. He's like the pretty easy bring back in that game, I think. But like you said, we're not trying to build the best team. We're trying to build the team that is going to beat each other, right? So I'm going to stay in that game, and I'm going to take the guy that potentially would take a couple touchdowns away from Hunter Renfrow. I really like Josh Jacobs, Smiz, because I think that he's at this price, 6,200. He's someone that is being used in the passing game a ton, and we know it's a fantastic matchup for that. Obviously, the game script in favor of the pass catching of this side of this play, but also the Kansas City Chiefs are a bottom 8 team at defending running backs in the passing game. So I think that that's a really nice spot for Josh Jacobs if he continues to see this type of volume. Even if he's not fully healthy, I think this is one of those ones where it does feel kind of safe to stay in like this 6K-ish range at running back. So I'm pretty comfortable with him this week.
I like him too. I hate injuries, but in terms of Jacobs' fantasy outlook, I like that Drake's injury opens up a lot more snaps and usage for him in the passing game. They're not going to run him 100% of the time, but if he gets up to like 80+% of the snaps for the final few games of the season through your fantasy playoffs or for daily fantasy, is certainly underpriced at his current usage rates. I'm going to go and take another wide receiver here. And look, Buffalo's been really good against the pass. They have been. But without their number 1 cornerback and with the amount of volume that the passing game gets, and it's like, am I cannibalizing myself here on touchdown ceiling? Possibly, but this is not a tournament. As Joe mentioned, I don't need to be faster than the bear. I just got to be faster than Joe. So I'll take the targets from Chris Godwin, especially in games where Antonio Brown is out. He gets all of those short to intermediate targets. He is also a guy that gets down the field and can challenge safeties, as well as seeing heightened red zone and end zone usage when it's basically just him and Evans. He is Tom Brady's favorite target on the outside currently, especially without Antonio Brown there. So I'm going to lock in him at 7,100, leaving me 47. I've got a defense and a tight end where I can get cheaper to allow me to do the things that I want to do. And Joe's got to watch one of them score this week. Or
that's
both.
A good one. You just got to think about too, like Buffalo, like without Tre'Davious White, like do they really have someone that can like match up with like the size of what Tampa Bay brings to the table? So I
No.
think that Godwin and Evans are both really solid. I need to find a little bit of salary relief here, I think, before I go completely that direction. So maybe between a couple guys right now, one of them really makes me nervous, but he seems to be popping kind of everywhere early in the week. The target share has been relatively strong for him. 5 targets last week, 8 targets the week before. Not a huge ceiling by any means because of the team he plays for, but it does seem that LAQUON Treadwell at 3,400 does seem to be like number one recently, right? And he's 3,400. I got to find some sort of punt here, Smiz. So it's going to be Treadwell for me, even though it makes me feel a little bit queasy.
He is some sort of punt. That's true. The problem is not with LAQUON Treadwell. The problem is with whose name I'm not allowed to say anymore. He has been redacted. Shirt in the merch store. Go check that out already. But LAQUON Treadwell is exactly what everybody on Twitter wanted to be. So here we are, our first redacted player of the year.
Can you hear my beat?
He is who he is. Look, you're gonna get usage. He's played what? I don't have the snap number off the top of my head. I think he played like 85 to 95% of the snaps the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's on the field basically the entire game. So that's like it's a really gross play, but you're gonna have to like. There's really not a lot of great value, and I'm trying to jam in as many studs as possible onto this team. So even if he gets me literally like 6, I'm fine. Don't care.
Yeah, and we've talked about this for years, right? This is not a new philosophy that if your punt wide receiver on DraftKings, 1, full PPR, 2, if they get to a bonus, even full PPR and bonuses is a completely different game than even full PPR. So them getting you like 6.5 or 7 points, you're like, oh, that guy killed me. He really didn't, because what was your point expectation for him really? 9 or 10? So he missed by like 4. Now, if a guy like TYREEK Hill, or not, I'm not saying this to berate your lineup at all. If a player that's priced at that point, like let's say a DEEBO, right? Like who may be out. If you play DEEBO Samuel at 8K and he scores you 9 fantasy points, it hurts a whole hell of a lot more than LAQUON Treadwell getting 5.
Yep.
Like
No
you're
doubt.
spending so much salary for such little production. So like punting off with wide receiver, it's historically been the way to go on DraftKings.
At least with
Finally.
one spot, right? It just like really helps out with like the rest of this build. Now, I was already getting a little bit expensive with going with 2 kind of mid-range running backs, and then TYREEK at 8,500. Like there's just like sacrifices you have to make.
Yeah, it is what it is. So there, going back over to my team, I have 4,700 remaining. I feel like I just have to do the thing. I don't want to lock up spots, but like I have to do the thing. Not now, Bill Gates.
Consider taking him from you.
God damn it. I'm just going TYREEK. I'm going Taysom Hill. You got TYREEK Hill. I'm going Taysom Hill. I have a shot at a 100-yard rushing bonus from a quarterback. Even if he can't throw the ball, even if he is not allowed to throw the football this week, he's going to carry it 10 to 15 times. If he can throw the football a little bit, like even just on like swing passes, if Kamara's healthy, or if it's going to be Ingram, or just getting the ball into guys' hands on little screen passes, right? And then they yak my way to some passing yardage. You got to assume that he's going to start this game with a rushing expectation of 11 fantasy points. Right? Like what? Half a touchdown expectation. So that's 3 and about 80 yards on the ground. I have an expectation of 11 rushing points before he ever throws a pass. So really high floor play, 5,600. I have no need to stack him because, this is not that sort of game. And it's the freaking Jets. They're really, really, really bad. So I'm going Taysom Hill, throwing mallet finger caution to the wind. And it sucks, and I don't care because I have Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I was considering taking him from you. I also like, I think it's like an interesting conversation to have. Who is actually riskier at this point, Taysom Hill or Cam Newton? Like Cam Newton has like the chance to maybe even get pulled. Like we've seen that happen, but like kind of a similar play. And then Atlanta also very bad, pretty similar price point. So I'm going to kind of keep that one in my back pocket if I need it. So I definitely have a little bit more room at this point to kind of make a few different decisions here. You already have Godwin. What is Gronk's price? Gronk is 6K.
6K.
Now.
They priced him up.
That is a little bit tougher to swallow than I expected. But I am going to stay at tight end, and I'm going to go with another value option that I really like this week, and it's Jared Cook. He's 3,200. Yeah. And I know a lot of people aren't going to be excited about this play. It's not a sexy play by any means, but he is just out there a ton. He's still getting targeted. I mean, we care about targets at tight end. And if you're not going all the way up, I prefer to go significantly further down. So just like jamming in Cook and Treadwell, I don't necessarily have to play Cam Newton at that point. So I wanted to have a little bit more flexibility as we go here.
Yeah, it makes sense. Look, the reason why nobody likes Jared Cook this year, I think he's a fine play and a fine player. We just haven't seen him get the steady flow of target. Like he gets you what he gets you. It's the preschool rule, right? You said your girlfriend's a teacher. Like you get what you get and you don't get upset is basically what you get when you play Jared Cook. So like you're going to get between 3 and 5 targets. You definitely have some touchdown upside here.
If Keenan's out, more target upside. That's kind of the thought process, I think.
If
so
Keenan's out, yeah, that's possible.
I'll take that risk.
Yeah,
that risk.
It's just that they play 3 tight ends that I hate, and I don't hate the pick. I like the pick. Like, I hold my nose every time I pick Jared Cook.
It never feels great. It never feels right.
Never
that's
feels
for sure.
Last year it felt great.
Yeah.
This year, not as much.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to find value somewhere a little bit. I don't know that I need much, but I do need some. I don't like anything that's happening.
This is kind of a tough slate, Smith.
It is. No,
I don't like a lot of things happening right now either.
No, this is not fun. Like I like that I've made you a little bit angry.
I'm uncomfortable, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've made you a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I should probably try and make you more uncomfortable.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Like, like that might be what should get done here. Like the optimizer says do something different. But I'm going to go for discomfort. I'm going to go with Dawson Knox.
Okay.
At 5K. I want you watching every touchdown. You know what's going to happen when the Bills get inside the 15-yard line. You go, oh no, it's going to be Dawson Knox.
Yeah. Little mini stack action there. I like it.
I'm not even intentionally. I want you to watch my team score touchdowns. That's really why I'm making this pick. Like the optimal pick here would be like Austin Hooper at 3,400. Right?
Yeah, he was on my list too.
Yeah, he'd be the optimal pick right here. It's like low price tight end. You could pay up somewhere else to get volume, but like I don't care about that. I want you to hate life on Sunday.
It's very possible
in the
with what you
sense
just
of
did today
raising
that I
money
will
for
be.
charity.
Yeah, that's true. So I have like my optimal idea of how I want to fill out this team, but I also feel like I need a little bit more leverage than I have currently. So in that game that I will be at, you currently have Fournette and Dawson Knox and Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
So how does that go wrong for you? It's if Mike Evans comes in and gets 2 touchdowns, because like I said before, they don't really have anyone that can match his size. He's coming off of kind of a down game. This actually kind of ruins everything I had planned for this lineup, but I'm going to make it work. And Mike Evans is going to be my next pick. We're just going to be watching this game very closely for the cage match, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know what? When I was a basketball coach, I always tried to, impress my team's will upon the other team and get them out of what they were trying to do and get them out of their comfort. I like that I have totally jacked up your plan for where you wanted to go.
You have.
I'm
currently 200 away from the guy I wanted to go with here. So now I'm officially on tilt.
I like that. See? Good. And if you have not already, go check out Joe's great show, which we will not be on apparently this weekend, called Tilt Space. That he does with Mike Leone, who was also on the cage match this year, and Peter Overzet, who has previously been on the cage match the previous 2 years. So
great guys. You ever get annoyed that Leone wins 60K every week, man? It's
every
insane.
week. He has an expectation of 50K every weekend in the Thunderdome.
It's like if people are really upset on Twitter about how the slate's going, you just assume that Leone's at first.
Yeah, just
you know what I mean?
if you're feeling bad about your lineups, just know that Leone is probably winning the cage match.
He gets real quiet on the show sometimes, so that's why how I can tell that he's winning if we're all really upset about our things in our lineups. He's really good at like giving us, he's good at like giving us his like secondary plays, and then he just like slips in the guys he really likes into the Thunderdome. Man, that's what he does.
All right, you know what they've done a really good job of on DraftKings, and I say that in a complimentary way to them, but also in a really frustrating way. They've priced up a lot of the defenses to the point where it's no longer comfortable to play them, right? So like you could find really good defenses at 2,500 and down a lot of the weeks. And they've made that a lot more difficult recently. You know, so like you could play the Lions defense on the road. You could play Jacksonville against Tennessee with their lack of offensive weapons on the road. Houston going up against the Texans, like I get it. Or sorry, going up against Seattle, I get it that like Russ has been terrible since he's come back. But like all those are like they put no pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They don't do anything great. The Jets like just get throttled every single week. So like I kind of feel like there's two defenses under 3K that I'd be interested in playing. And I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to go with the Browns defense with the amazing defensive line that they have now. Baltimore could run the football in this spot and take things away. I think that Cleveland's going to play from ahead and force them to throw it a little bit more, which good things happen when you blitz Lamar. And I think that they are going to have to do that and create some turnovers and create some sacks and fumble opportunities. So a big play, special teams with a very strong blitzing defense. Danger in every defense under 3K this week, but I'll take Cleveland and I'll lock that spot up, leaving me 5,100 on average for a wide receiver and a flex.
That was going to be my defense, Smiz. So that is, again, not fun for Joe. Definitely think they were the top one if you were to go under 3K for sure. Like you said, you could go a little bit cheaper if you wanted to, which I'm probably going to have to at this point, but I'm going to save quarterback and defense to see what your next pick is. But I've been staring at this guy the whole time, so I'm just going to do it. Again, not a safe play by any means. He's someone that still doesn't seem like he's completely right and completely healthy, but Saquon Barkley at 6K, he's been staring at me. I'm just going to do it. I already have Jared Cook on this team, so it gives me a nice little mini stack in that game. So that was another guy that I was considering going with. And I didn't want to lock up my flex super early, but I was going to do that. I feel like Saquon Barkley needs a home run, and he's the type of athlete and type of player who can get that at any time. And the Chargers have given up a lot of home runs to opposing running backs this year. 6K is a great play this week, but and I like the uses that they've shown in the passing game for him as well. So you have a quarterback that I can't take, and you have a defense that I can take. So I'll let you make your next two picks when we come back around to you. Let's see. Let me do a thing here real quick. I gotta do this, and then I gotta do this. Like I said, there's no great wide receivers. My 2v2 is so gross right now, Al. I think you've already accomplished what he wanted to do. See, that just makes me happy. I'm very happy about everything that's happening right now. This is just fantastic. I have a flex that I can spend on. I feel like I need a little bit of value. I don't know why I feel like I need value, but like I kind of just want to fill this last spot with it. And he's been good in the last couple of weeks is Josh Reynolds. 12 targets. We talked about this with your pick at 3,400. I think is the better value wide receiver. LAQUON Treadwell at 3,400. There is a difference between a $4,100 wide receiver and a $3,400 wide receiver, and it's $700. But your point expectation is way different. Like if you get 9 points out of yours, you're happy. I need to get 12 out of mine to feel like I've done the job here. But Josh Reynolds has gotten me around that point. If he misses, I don't feel like he misses by much. If he starts and finishes this game, they just don't have any guys that can consistently get open on the outside. And while Josh Reynolds is not anything close to an alpha wide receiver, he is in that offense, and the targets are going to be there. He's going to play all the snaps. Everybody else is a Robin at best, and right now he's the Batman on the outside, and he can play well
off of Hawkinson patrolling the middle of the field. So give me Josh Reynolds in this spot. I'll take the hopefully 10 to 12, 10 to 15 points, leaving me 6,100 in salary for my flex spot. Going back to you. Why don't you give me your quarterback and defense pick, and then I will make my final pick and we'll wrap it up.
Yep. So originally when I said I threw in Mike Evans, my original plan was to play Mike Williams there because it was a little bit cheaper, and then I could have got up to Patrick Mahomes at quarterback and still had enough salary to get to Cleveland, who you took anyway. So that put me in a little bit of a different position, and I already jammed in Mike Evans. I might as well just play Tom Brady with him. So Brady, Evans in that game, I guess, against your little mini stack in the game as well. I guess got to hope the touchdowns go to Mike Evans at this point. And then I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars defense at 2,300. Really the only other play on the super cheap side that I liked outside of Cleveland. And again, 2,300. I think that as long as they just don't completely implode, not the worst thing in the world. I did want to get up to Mahomes, but Mahomes is expensive, man. And I didn't really like what going down to Cam Newton got me. So yeah, I'm just gonna. It never feels right to just go away from Brady to Cam Newton just to pay up at defense. So I think this is the right move.
All right, so that's your final lineup. Tom Brady, Antonio Gibson, Josh Jacobs, Tyreek Hill, Laquan Treadwell, Mike Evans, Jared Cook, Saquon Barkley, and the Jaguars D. I really hope that Tom Brady has 4 touchdowns, 2 of them to Fournette and 2 of them to Chris Godwin. That would be an outstanding that would be an outstanding finale to that game. So I leave myself, as you can see, if you're building cash games lineups this week, like, this would be a great spot for like Antonio Gibson or Saquon Barkley. It's like, I can't throw them in there. I could just put Rob Gronkowski in here and totally make your day awful. It would be the wrong play though. I'm not going to do that.
I couldn't find a team with Gronk that I liked with my build. So if you did that, I wouldn't be too upset because he does handcuff you a bit.
He does. So this is a weird spot because we draft this on Wednesday. So if Keenan Allen's out, Mike Williams, although a tough matchup with Bradbury, he still may end up being my pick. I think he'd be a great pick. I think that Amari Cooper going up against Washington, now getting back into the full swing of things, I think is going to get more targets. And then the one other pick that I think people are going to want me to take is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but like he's in a 50-50 split right now with Williams, and I don't like that one bit. So to me, it comes down to Chuba Hubbard, because as chat is probably going to remind me right now, CMC is out, which means that Chuba Hubbard becomes the guy. They fired Joe Brady. Sure. 40 chess galaxy brain move. You hire a really young, talented offensive coordinator with a pass-first offense. You expect him to run the ball 30-plus times a game, and you give him Sam Darnold and Teddy Bridgewater, and you're like, you know what? You didn't do a good job. It's all your fault. We're firing you.
Of all things to do, man. Like that is like the one thing that was probably the sharp.
One thing that's like the not broken on Carolina was Joe Brady.
Well, standard Carolina move to do that, I suppose.
Yeah, like whatever. So Chuba Hubbard could be the play here, but like I want to go big. I do like the Chargers, not because I'm from Los Angeles, but I think that this is a week where Mike Williams could kind of get off, even though that matchup is not fantastic for him. And I'm going to gamble on the fact that maybe Keenan Allen can't get 2 negatives before this weekend. So I think with Keenan Allen, we still have a solid floor with big time upside. But if Keenan Allen's out, Mike Williams becomes one of the best plays on this slate at 6K, as he could theoretically get 9 to 12 targets in that offense. So I'm going to lock Mike Williams in. Full PPR, a flex wide receiver is more than viable, especially with bonuses on DraftKings. So Taysom Hill, Leonard Fournette. I've got Javonte Williams in Denver. I've got Renfrow, Godwin, Josh Reynolds, Dawson Knox, Mike Williams, and the Browns defense. Maximum pain incoming for Joe. Joe, thank you for joining us today. Appreciate that. And,
yeah, this is always fun.
Follow Joe on all social medias, including Instagram. He's really into his Instagram. Go to Joe Holka on Instagram and the Joe Holka Show on Instagram. Make sure you drop him a follow. He loves Instagram. And we'll catch you guys later. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.